Hello everybody, welcome back to Chungi Clan. It is Twintail here, back with another video. This time it's going to be a breakdown of my third place run and deck profile for the World Grand Prix 2021 of Rebirth for you in North America. Let's go ahead and get right into it. So first we'll go over the deck. So I decided to go again with Rebirth for you because I felt that of the decks I owned between that and two other titles, those of which being D4DJ and Igarashi, I decided that Rebirth was still going to be the most consistent, and I also wanted to have like that, play what I like sort of thing, as well as I felt like just had the overall most impact of the decks I had on the current meta game. So we'll go ahead and get right into it. So first we start off with none other than Research Assistant Chiharu. So she's going to be the first entry that we use for this deck. So she's a one cost, that's very, very nice. In Rebirth, we want to have low cost entries. Yes, we could choose to cost two, but like overall cost ones work better, especially if you're going first, which I believe, honestly speaking, going first is more important as of 2021 and going to 2022 versus back in 2020. So that's very nice. And she has a very useful ability. Some people might have seen this in decks like D4DJ or any other high entry in achieving deck. So her ability is act once per turn on member, pay 4 energy to bottom deck your entries, so that becomes very key, especially in the later parts of the game where we just end up with very undesirable entries because of the nature of this game. So she will go ahead and hopefully exchange your entry out for chances at extra sparks or just having a better entry overall. Okay. So of course we also have 3 obligatory partners. I decided to go with the old 3 Shukomino partners again. So, what's a good girl? Moving over into the main deck, we have 4 full power Rebirth Fest U. So she is a 1-drop with the spark. 1 spark in, you can choose one of your members and put it in the waiting room. If you use it, gets 2 defense to kill end of turn. So this helps with our strategy of trying to achieve a higher number of entry ins than the average player. So she will help us in achieving that by just cleaning up some of the things on our board that we kind of don't want. Usually extra sparks, we play a high amount of sparks in this deck, so she's going to come in very handy for that. And she having the go Stews trait will matter as we go into later cards. Moving along, we also have 4 full power Rebirth Fest Chiharu. So she is also one of the new cards with you from the Rebirth Volume 2 set. Yeah, so obviously it's upgrade with Rebirth Volume 2. So she is a Spark Skill Showcase level 4. Choose one of your opponent's characters and not characters. Choose one of your opponent's members and put it to the waiting room. So this is part of our strategy where we just want to have overall control of how much damage we take by minimizing the amount that we take so that we can maintain a damage gap against our opponents. And her being 1 cost as well as Go Stews is also very handy in this deck. Moving into our cost 2s, we finally see our first recombo card in Rebirth Party Shuko. So her recombo goes as follows. Continuous on member area, recombo with one of our heals. That will be this one here. Skill Showcase level 3 doesn't. The Skill Showcase part is completely generic. All of your Go Stews members cannot be targeted by your opponent's card abilities. So that becomes very key against decks that are playing other similar cards that like this that can deal with our boards, as well as things like the infamous nuke or opposing snipe cards, or even the newfangled choose one of your opponent's members and rest it to prevent you from cleaning up your board as a result of your opponent playing the game. So this helps to keep us in the damage tree, and it being on heal is also very nice. The main downside is that, you know, she is a vulnerable for defense, so getting her on the defensive in entry ends is not ideal, but you know, that is part of playing Rebirth. Of course, we have to bring back today's recommendation, Chiharu from the teaching deck. So she is our regular skill showcase level 3 spark. Choose one of our opponent's characters and, I mean, not characters, members, and put it to the waiting room. So again, helps us control that damage. Unfortunately, she does not have that Go-Go Stew trait due to her being in the teaching deck. So she had the Tabasaki high school trait instead, but that's okay. We can afford to run some off traits because our skill showcase for any specific trait is maximum 5. I think with the ratios I have in this deck, it should not be too difficult. So moving along, we have one copy of Ao Nekugahara, so she's from the trial deck. She also does the snipe thing as skill showcase level 3. Of course, you can't get copies of those, you can just grab 4 of these. They're much easier to find than Chiharu, I would assume, due to there being a higher supply of trial deck stuff versus teaching deck stuff. Like, trust me, it took me like probably 3 different online shopping trips to get my Chiharus. So that being said, no, again, she's just there to provide some extra damage control. And also, to round out our costumes, we also have 4 Trio Fight K. So she is also a skill showcase level 3, snipe 1. The K name will also come important when we go into our higher. We have a recombo that kind of cares about K if that matters. So that runs out our cost 2s. For cost 3s, we only play 4 of them. It is none other than Sleepy Time Chiharu from set 1. For 5, skill showcase level 3 Goku Stew specifically, so you know this is where the trait matters now. It's also a snipe. So very, very handy. 4 or 5 bodies, not too bad for a 3-drop that can mitigate some damage if uncontested. Going to our cost force, we bring back the 2 our childhood friends, Yu. So her recombo is any recombo, so it's generic. When she retires an opponent's character, so by successfully defeating them in battle, he gets +2 attack until end of turn. Then, if you have a K, so going back over to one of the 4 Ks that we would normally have in our member area due to her having a low cost, she will get an additional 1 attack, so that could come in handy sometimes. Especially very well with Shuko's recombo. You know, you can attack with K first, or support with K first so that your opponent can... Anything that your opponent does that manipulates your board can only affect her, and your Shuko and 1 other Go-Go Stews member will be unaffected. So she is one of our main damage pushers due to her ability to just get big quickly if your opponent has no responses to her or box blockers and so on. And we also play 2 copies of Chicken Skewers Restaurant Signboard Girl Chiharu from set 1. So she has a recombo specifically with the set 1 heal here. Chicken Skewers Restaurant Signboard Girl. And recombo on attack once per turn. If your opponent has 3 or more members, you choose one and put it to the waiting room. If your opponent does not, you draw 1 card. Ideally, you prefer to do the first one in case you're not popping off your snipe abilities, and she's also a B357 body. This is also very handy against decks like, say, Azure Lane's Royal Navy, where they want to keep their Belfast on the board to be able to do their shenanigans by cheating out certain characters from hand for a mere 3 energy costs and so on and so forth, as well as just dealing with that deck's ability to be pretty resilient to snipe if it's able to pull off if it's able to recur the vampire blocker over and over. Okay. And rounding out our cost force is a new card where we have I believe it's like Irritating Fight or something. I don't exactly remember the name, but Anyway, so Chiharu. So her spark ability is skill showcase level 5 go stews. You may pay 2 energy. If you do, choose 2 of your opponent's members and put into your way room. So this became, this card honestly is a pretty strong carry moving forward with a go stews heavy control deck where she is effectively a nuke without forcing your opponent to get an extra entry in. So I really do like this card, and she has very nice stats at 5/7. So that's very nice, just like her re-combo from set 1. So I do like the big body. I do like that additional ability to just go ahead and possibly stop 2 of my opponent's attacks, or put my opponent in a very difficult situation where they need to rebuild their board and spend a lot of resources probably for going partner attack. And honestly speaking, I do sometimes forgo partner attack if I know I can't finish them that turn, so that I have 2 energy up to durability. Okay, so now we move on to our cost 5s to round out the deck. So we have the K from the teaching deck. So I believe it's like not came to see you again, or maybe it's like came to see you again. I don't remember. Anyway, she is a 4/8 and generic recombo. So with anything on entry, she gets +2 attack, 1 defense. So if you check into a rebirth on the defensive and you bring her out, she's a 9 defense, very beefy. Very few things outside of a partner attack will take care of her. And on the offense, she will swing for a very beefy 6 attack. I have easily been able to just get in 3 damage uncontested because of this card in both playtesting and during the World Grand Prix event proper. Okay, we also play 1 copy of Halloween Party Ozue. It's just a 5/9 vanilla. There is also a Yuki 5/9 vanilla in the same set from Volume 2. Again, I just play this because it is an extra body just to have, as again, 5/9s are decent stacks, and I do like these vanillas in particular, especially after playing around with them in D4DJ, because honestly, when you're building good stuffs, builds or hybrid decks in D4DJ, before Volume 2 releases, which I should have by the time this video goes up, 5/9 vanilla socket was honestly like D4DJ's best thing, but I digress. And to round out our cost files, we have 1 last recombo in the form of Rebirth Party Chiharu. So Spark Skill Showcase level 5. Choose Gogo Snooze. She's a snipe. And entry recombo with the Copy Spark. Days of it should not be Days of Suffer, I'm pretty sure it should be Days of Passion. On attack, once per turn, choose 1 Go Stews character in your hand and put it to member area. So this allows you to go for 4 attacks, and what makes this better is that she is a whopping 6 attack. That's kind of hard to ask for in a lot of Rebirth cards sometimes. So I do like that she is pretty good on the offensive. Her defense is a little shaky, but that's okay. And of course, because you're playing Copy Spark, you're playing Copy Spark as well as the starter, assuming that you can get rid of it by time you hit Skill Showcase level 5. You can definitely try to pop this off and try to pull off those 4 attacks, especially as a possible finish turn. And moving from there, we go into our rebirths. So we do play 4 copies of the Yuko Trial Start Heal Rebirth. Again, heals are still very good in this game because Bushiroad decided that we should never restrict what heals do, even though they only they think powering up only the first attack is supposed to offset impact of heal, but that's neither here nor there. Anyway, heals are good, and heals that give our board hexproof are good. And we also have 2 copies of the Chicken Skewers Signboard Girl. Chicken Skewer Restaurant Signboard Girl. Rebirth also a heal from set 1. Again, to just combo with our 5/7 Chiharu recombo to hopefully cripple our opponent's boards a little bit more, especially again if they are that pesky Azure Royal Navy deck. with that easy member recursion. And to round it off, we have 2 copies of Days of Passion, or Copy Spark. So again, because of the cards we do play here, we hopefully will heal out a spark ability that can manipulate our opponent's board, especially if it's a card like Irritating Fight Chiharu. Bring us in, pay the 2, wipe out 2 of our opponent's members with a Rebirth. And because it is a Rebirth Spark, it is harder to cancel, assuming you're still running into character cancels. And of course, we have the act ability to kill off our entry once per turn, and put our entry to the waiting room to bring the next character out with 1 more attack for the turn, so that's very, very handy. So that being said, the overall strategy, as we see, is to simply do what we can pop off as many good defensive entry ins as possible when we're receiving damage, so that we mitigate the amount of damage that we take. And our top end is aimed to just push damage as much as possible and try to widen the damage gap across snipes and heals throughout the game, as well as just doing what we can to keep our opponents behind and trying to stay ahead as much as possible. So as a result, we choose to forgo blockers and cancels when playing this deck, because especially with the low stacks that we have available in the Go-Go Stews archetype, we do not want to entry in our blockers or cancels if we could. So why play them in the first place? So that being said, we will go ahead and talk about some possible changes that we could make. So this deck runs, I counted, it should be 30 Go-Go Stews characters. If it was too little, you can go ahead and replace one of the I would recommend you can replace 4 of the non-cost 2, or not non-cost 2, 1 of the cost 2 types that are not K. Again, K is pretty important. If you ever pop off the 2 or childhood friends, you can replace any number of these with a card like Rebirth player Chiharu from set 1 for that skill showcase level 6 ability that could come in handy when you get easy +1 attack to your entry on the offensive and you have a Rebirth active, that 1 defense. And if not that, we also have the new I forget what the name of it is, but we have that 2-drop Chiharu where he says on member, pay 3 energy to bounce your Go-Go Stews entry back to hand. So again, to give you that extra chance on top of your first entry here to try to cycle into something better. Okay. And of course, you can also try to, you can also try to figure out other top end Go-Go Stews cards that you might want to play to have more trade consistency. Maybe you can take out one of these 3 for more Corner you or a Chiharu even, just to have that name while still being a pretty big body at 4-7, 5-7, etc. Okay. So that is the deck profile. So we will go ahead and move on to the actual run of the event itself. So they decided to do a new take on the triple elimination system that they gave back in 2020, where whoever goes undefeated whoever is that 1 undefeated player at the end of a number of rounds it takes to get to 1 or fewer undefeated players, that person will be seed 1 in top 8 guaranteed and gets a bye for the remainder of triple elimination. And we keep playing triple elimination until we have 7 players left. So we had to go through 5 total rounds in triple elimination to get to that point. So round 1, I unfortunately had to play against none other than my teammate Megane, and that ended up being a win on my end. So, a sacrifice unfortunately made there. It was not a pretty one. Moving to round 2, I play against actually my opponent from top 4 in 2020. He was playing, of course, his trusted Pastel Palace Banging Gross Band Party Guard Papico deck. I unfortunately end up losing due to some unfortunate events on my end. And moving to round 3, I play against a a playtesting buddy of mine was actually Andy, who was playing, he and Megan were playing similar decks, but Megan was going more for mermaid good stuffs. Andy here's going for a pure mermaid, Indy for DJ. I ended up losing due to Encore Rebirth being a thing, and Andy just really capitalizing on that due to the board manipulation that mermaid can do. So, this already puts like a danger point in the top, or not in the top, but in triple elimination rounds. Gave me a bye for round 4, and I play against, in round 5, a fellow member of our Rebirth for You TCG Global Community Discord server who was playing his Popping Party Bang Dream deck. It came pretty close, but I ended up taking it. So after round 5, we do, due to the triple elimination system that we were using, I end up with 2 losses, so I am allowed to play in the top 8 because that's how Hard the Cards with Bushiroad decided to rule it. And that being said, we go in the top 8. I play against Anki again, but this time I was able to pop off a little more, where I was able to pull off the Nice to See You again K recombo to just have a costing 6 attack beat stick that just got in 3 damage in on Andy uncontested, and he was unable to really recover from there, especially since I believe he ended up whiffing a little bit when he did end up with his Encore Spark. Then we go into top 4. I played against who would end up becoming the eventual champion, Oliver, with his Toho Project Perfect Cherry Blossom deck. It was definitely back and forth at first, but he ends up getting the damage lead on me due to him playing a fair share of his own blockers and rebirths and other spots that can deal with my board when I didn't have hexproof up. So he ends up taking it from me, as well as taking it at the finals against our good buddy Mirai. And of course, because I ended up losing top 4, I do have to play for 3rd place, so I play against none other than Azure Lane Royal Navy, and it ended up being a bit lopsided because my opponent would end up entering his vampires and Belfast. These are not things you want to see on your entry unless you have blockers for them, and unfortunately that did not seem to be the case until too late in the game, so that would end up going to me. So that's how I end up with 3rd place at the Rebirth for You World Grand Prix of 2021. So, overall that was a 5-3 record, 3-2 before Top Cut in a triple elimination system, 2-1 in Top Cut. So overall it was a very fun event. Unfortunately, I had to do some team kills, or team kills and friendly kills alike. So that was not very fun in that sense, but it was overall just very fun to play Rebirth for You with players from all over North America. Again, many thanks to Hard the Cards and the folks at Bushiroad Japan for organizing this and arranging this for us. Hopefully we can do this in a larger scale, maybe in person towards the end of this year. We will see, fingers crossed. So that being said, some final shoutouts. I want to give a shout out first and foremost to the Rebirth for You TCG Global Community server on Discord. It has been awesome talking about the game with you folks, doing tournaments with you folks, all sorts of, even just watching the Bushiroad TCG strategy presentations together has been fun, and seeing predictions and other spicy thoughts, predictions, theory crafting, and so on that y'all have, it really continues to motivate myself and other people in the server to keep up their game in Rebirth for You. So, very awesome to have this consortium that I am proud to have run ever since 2020, and I look forward to more Rebirth moments with you all there. Of course, I also want to give a shout out to both my teammate Megan and my friend Andy for helping me playtest and making sure that my lines of play were as optimal as they can be. along with along with the playtesting sessions indicating, hey, maybe I'm not running enough of a certain card, I should probably consider that, especially for such and such matchup that Gabe did not expose me to, but we were discussing it and we were deciding, yeah, maybe or we were discussing it a little bit, and I'm deciding the night before the tournament, yeah, maybe I should make a few additional changes before I go in. And of course, my team actually, the rest of the team actually clan, my teammates have been very supportive about of all the things that I do, especially when it comes to competitive trading card games. They have helped me, while the majority of them do not play Rebirth for you proper, they are there to definitely be there for moral support and knowing that it helps drive me and Megan A to do as well as we could at events like these. So many thanks to you folks there. So that being said, definitely looking forward to the next time we could compete in Rebirth for you, and hopefully I can hold on to a position on the podium one way or another. Doing what I can here, people. And with that out of the way, I hope you continue to embrace the darkness, continue to support us, and with that, we will catch you in the next one. Bye bye.